I really do think there is something about this country. There's an energy, a vibe, something about South Africa that gets into you. And like I say, I came for a year thinking, we'll see how this goes, and then just didn't leave.
Kaizer Chiefs is so important to South African football, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest institution in South African football when we're looking at heritage and history. And
A healthy Kaizer Chiefs is a healthy PSL.
100%.
For sure. I always say that people always look at who wins the league at the end, but I think for me the league is won in stages, and it's the team that wins the most stages that wins the league. And I think the first stage for me is always the transfer market, and I think Pirates have definitely won. I think they've won the transfer market this season.
I suppose that the other thing is, like, people want to argue with stats these days as well.
Yeah.
Like, people come and tell you, oh, this guy must win it because look at his XG. It's like, well, also just watch him play.
Everybody agrees who we think number one is going to be.
But I say Sundowns win the league. I think we have a title race. It goes right to the wire, and Sundowns win it at the end. Number one.
I really hope so. Like, I really hope that is the case.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State of Football, where the game meets opinion, memory, and insight. I think this is second episode.
Yeah.
And since the first one, we've had like a lot of comments. I think we did it a month ago. And a lot of people have been saying, hey guys, when's the next one dropping? It's not that type of show. We want to take in everything that is happening with football and give you like a concise approach and a little bit more informative in terms of what's going on. So you'll probably get an episode every month. Maybe you might get two. And as the show evolves and progresses, we'll see how we take it forward. But tonight we have a very special episode loading. Journalist extraordinaire, Mr. Yes We Crann. That's what. Yes We Crann.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes We Crann. Joe Crann, how you doing, my brother? You good?
I'm good. Thanks very much for having me.
Perfect, man. I think maybe first things first, man. What you been up to, man? What's going on?
Oh, I've been covering a car crash of a football club back home. I lived in South Africa for 10 years. I moved back for work in 2020 during COVID. I went to cover my club, my football club that I grew up supporting, Sheffield Wednesday. I went back. They got relegated. Then they got to the playoffs, missed out on the playoffs. Then they won the playoffs, got promoted in like the most incredible fashion. Then they did the Great Escape, having had the worst start to a season that I think the Championship's ever seen. And now we're under embargo, and the club is on fire. So it's been a pretty busy time covering Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think there's many clubs like it in the world. But yeah, I moved back to South Africa a few months ago because this country gets its claws into you, man. Like there's something about it's very difficult to describe to people who've not been here, but there is something about South Africa that sort of gets a hold of you, and no one ever stays away for too long.
So you came here to visit, and then you just decided, you know what, this is the country for me.
If you want the long story, I mean, we've got time. The long story is I came first in 2006. We came for a family holiday. My dad used to like read a lot of Wilbur Smith books growing up. So obviously they're based around Zim, South Africa, a lot of that. So for his 50th, my mom decided, right, we're going to go on a big family holiday to South Africa. We came here. Everyone told my mom, "Oh, it's so dangerous. You're going to take the kids. It's going to be awful." We got here. My mom decided she was going to just book us we had a few nights in Soweto. We stayed in Soweto, went to like Wandy's place and all that kind of stuff. And I just fell in love with it. We did Cape Town, Joburg, and spent a bit of time out in KZN in Isandlwana, and we did like a real big South African tour. I fell in love with the place, and I said to my mum, I was I think 16, I'm gonna go back there for the World Cup, and she's like, yeah, of course you are. Like you're 16, as if you're gonna get get things together. But I did. Came for the World Cup. Did like an internship. I was meant to work for the Daily Voice, actually. I was meant to be doing an internship or a work experience thing there. And I got a call about 2 weeks before I was meant to come saying, we've got this opportunity at this place called Soccer Laduma. Like it's a football newspaper. Would you be interested in going there instead? It's like, so you're asking me if I want to go work for a football newspaper during the World Cup? It's like, yeah. I think I can probably do that. That's fine. So yeah, went there. Had an unbelievable time at the Doom. I did a month on work experience. Then when it finished, they asked me to stick around for a couple of weeks. And then before I left, Peter Dutoy, who was the owner at the time, is like, look, we'd love you to come back one day if you fancy it. So I was like, they'd probably just say that to everybody. So I went on my way. I went traveling, did all that kind of stuff, and then got a call when I was in Australia. And Peter is like, look, we weren't joking. Like, if you want to come back, like, we'd love to have you. So I was meant to go to uni when I finished traveling. Just decided, I might just move to South Africa for a year, see what happens. Moved to South Africa 2011. Met my wife and stayed until 2020. So that's what happened. I was like I say, I really do think there is something about this country. There's an energy, a vibe, something about South Africa that gets into you. And like I say, I came for a year thinking we'll see how this goes, and then just didn't leave. And I only left in 2020. And like I say, it was nothing to do with like, I need to get out or anything like that. The opportunity came to cover my football club, and that was just something I wanted to do. But yeah, I'm back now, and the weather's so much nicer here, man.
And currently you're working for the Star?
Yeah.
How's that going? I mean, you're in South Africa working for a British publication. How's that going?
Well, look, if you look at the modern day now and the way everything works, like there's not really many barriers anymore. Like, obviously, I can't go to games, which makes that side of things is difficult. Because I am a big believer in you don't see everything when you watch on TV.
Yeah,
there's a lot to be seen in football games that could only be seen by being there.
He feels the same.
You need to be there sometimes to see the detail.
Yeah, because the camera only focuses on what the camera's on. So there's other stuff happening, and so that element of it is hard. But from a journalistic perspective, with WhatsApp, with Zoom, with with everything we have now, there is nothing stopping me from doing my job. I can still stay very much on top of things. I can still speak to everybody. It's an interesting time at my football club at the moment with everything going on, so it's not really stopped. It's a kind of a constant stress. But I'm also looking at the time difference is only like an hour. If it was more than that, true. I might be struggling.
You'd have a problem. Okay. And I think Mpho, I didn't even introduce you, man.
Yeah, but I
think everybody knows you by now. I mean, regular armchair analyst. Mpho Sethaba Mpoza. You good, my bro?
I'm not the boy.
All right, perfect. I think, guys, we let's get stuck in. PSL new season is literally on our doorstep as we speak. But I think before we even get into the new season, we just had the PSL Awards about last week, and there's a lot of contentious. In terms of who won what and how and why. I mean, when you're looking at the fans of the different clubs, everyone will always have bias. There'll always be a lot of contentious award where people feel like this person should have won and this person should have won. But Mpho, I think let me throw this one to you, man. PSL Awards, from your perspective, what are your thoughts, man? Was it fair? And you think the people who won the awards deserve them?
Listen, I think at the end of the day, awards will always be very subjective. I mean, I think the easiest award to hand out is the Golden Boot because it's a simple. We know who scored the most goals. But I think with all other awards, I think it will always be very subjective. Personally, my view is that when a team wins the league, especially when they dominate like Sundowns, then generally their players you would expect them to win most of the awards. I'm not saying they should always, but you'd expect them to. It's just logically, if they're the best team, then they probably had the best players. But overall, I was not too upset about the awards. I thought, for example, Makaula had a good season, but I wouldn't have looked past an Allende or maybe even at Ebza for an award. But I think with Sundowns, it's also the fact that because they focus so much on the Champions League, I think they tend to rotate their players, and maybe that's got the number of games maybe that their players play in the league. But I would have given that to Allende. But besides that, I'm not too upset about the awards. Joe, I mean, you've historically you've seen these play out, and
The amount of arguments, the amount of arguments I've been in on Twitter and stuff over the years, over like awards and stuff. Because obviously in South Africa, especially because it's so the fan bases are so big with especially Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns.
Yeah.
Like you're not only battling with Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns fans about their own team, you're battling them against other teams as well. So like if there's for example, if there's a Chiefs player isn't nominated for an award, but a Pirates player is, the Chiefs fans will be like, no, everyone else must win it.
Yeah.
And anyone else must win it, just not as long as it's not the Pirates player. But look, awards, like you said, they are something that is always going to be contentious because it's opinion, and opinions are always going to be that way. And I think with any award, with any situation like that, you're always going to have people who are aggressively against whoever wins something.
Yeah.
Even if, I suppose that the other thing is like people want to argue with stats these days as well.
Yeah.
Like people come and tell you, oh, this guy must win it because look at his XG. It's like, well, also just watch him play.
Yeah.
Like they're both relevant things. Like everything has to be taken into account. You can't just go, right, this guy scored the most goals, so it automatically makes him the best player. Like you say, golden boots easy. We can write that one off. But like I think the people always want to look at the various elements when it comes to awards, but like unless you know the full criteria for it, unless you know the full context of everything, because context is key in all of this. I remember years ago having arguments with people about the coach of the year and how people like, well, the coach of the year should always be the coach that wins the league, and it's like, well, in that case, then just make it the golden boot, and then just scrap having nominations and stuff like that. If it's always going to be that situation, you just go, right, well, winning coach gets win an award. What's the point in the nominations then? Because I don't think that's always the case for me anyway. I think context has got to be used in all of this stuff, and there are often players and teams and coaches that punch well above their weight,
for sure,
that maybe deserve a bit more credit than someone who's continuing to be incredible. Like I always look at Pitso for this, because what Pitso did at Sundowns was incredible. He turned that entire football club around, but there came a point when it's just like, can he still be considered the coach of the season? Because he's just maintaining he's maintaining a level of incredible that it's not a surprise anymore, because he's just really, really, really good at what he does.
And it's, I mean, speaking of coaches, I mean, I said I'm not, if it was up to me, the awards would be completely different, by the way. All the winners would be, but like I said, I'm not too upset about it. But with the coaches, I think it's important that you raise it, Joe, because I think they agree with you. I don't think it follows that if you win the league, you are necessarily the best coach of the season. For example, Cardoso came in, Mangoba had already done some of the job at least. Right? It was a Settle Sundowns team. Did he necessarily do better than what Ribeiro did with Pirates? Did he necessarily do better than what Steve Barker did with Stellies? Because I think you look at what the coach has and what they're able to achieve with what they have. So it's not necessarily about, oh, you won the league, so you're the coach of the season, you know. But like I said, I think you're saying the same thing. It's so subjective. It could go.
Also, if we're being honest, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really
like
matter.
It's not that deep. Like at the end of the day, it's not not that
tell
deep.
that to the fans. I mean, the fans in the comment sections are always wiling.
I know all too well about the comment section. But no, like all those years of being called a cow, it's a bit been there. But no, I think you raise very fair points, because you look at circumstances as well. You look at what Stellies is doing is really impressive, because they're losing players every year. Like they're consistently losing players, and they're having to produce to continue to produce, and they're still challenging. They're still, they were still doing what they were doing on the continent last year, and like what they're doing as a football club in general is really impressive. And I think all of that context has to be used when you're looking at awards and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But yeah, it's a never-ending argument. No, you'll never
really agree.
You know what? I like what you just said, right? You spoke about just watch the player play, because we do a lot of these things. I saw it also with the awards, and somebody put up, I think it was on X or something. Somebody put up like stats of the goalkeepers. It was Ronan, and what's the Pirates keeper again?
China or
Yeah, and
China. China, I still
yes,
don't know
China.
exactly. Yeah.
And then I think Ronan played 16 games. As you know, they rotated a lot with Sundowns.
Yeah.
China played 25. But then what the stats are saying when you're looking at clean sheets, I think they both had 11 clean sheets within that 16 games that he played. China also had 11 clean sheets. People are saying, I mean, based on this, Ronan should have been the goalkeeper of the season because the stats are supporting that.
But here's the difficulty, and that's what I'm saying. They're so opinion based that for me it's pointless to spend hours debating them.
Yeah.
It may be that if you, and I've not done this exercise, but it may
Yeah.
be that if you actually check the stats, a keeper who plays for a smaller team has actually made more saves than Ronan because he's got more saves to make.
100%. I get what you're saying.
This is why you've got to always look at the big picture on stuff because, and Ronwin's a good example of it because Ronwin won't make as many saves as what other keepers will.
He won't need to.
But you look at what Ronwin brings to Sundowns as a whole because of the way he plays
He's
and the way
passing.
exactly. So you can't go right. We're comparing shots saved because if you compare shots saved, yes, you get the goalkeeper that made the most saves over the season.
Yeah.
Was he as big an influence in his team as what Ronzo was, for instance? Or is there a goalkeeper that maybe commands his defense so well that he doesn't have to make saves? Like there's all these kinds of things to take into account, which is why you've got to watch it.
You actually have to watch.
Eye test, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the eye test is probably still the best.
The eye test is the best because I mean you can come XG and all of these other stats, but we can see we watching the guys play. You know.
Do you know? And this is going slightly off topic, but like it bugs me when we're of a generation where we were able to see like Zidane and Ronaldinho and these guys play, and people go, yeah, but the numbers weren't great. Just go watch them, please. I beg you, just go
watch Zidane.
Just go watch. Yeah, just take some time from your day and just go watch Zinedine Zidane play for a little bit. Yeah, he wasn't racking up crazy numbers, but boy, what a player.
Okay, guys. I think the next thing now. I mean, PSL Awards. Okay, cool. I mean, I think consensus there. It'll always be contentious. People will have their opinions, and it's fine. I mean, it's awards. It's the same in the music industry and any other industry when there's an award season. I think just looking into the upcoming season, just want to look at some of the clubs in terms of what they've done, and what we possibly think we should expect from them. And I think I want to start with the mighty Buccaneers, Orlando Pirates. I mean, we see Nkota obviously is in Saudi. We see Saleng is loaned out to Orbit. Lepasa, I believe, has been released. Is currently a free agent. They've brought in Mbule and Apollos. I think those are the two notable players that they've actually brought in. There's other players who've obviously left, but I think just looking at what Pirates has done to date in terms of the transfer market. Mpho, what are your thoughts in terms of the type of season that we should expect from Orlando Pirates and the players that we just mentioned now?
Look, I think for me, I think I always say that people always look at who wins the league at the end. But I think for me, the league is won in stages, and it's the team that wins the most stages that wins the league. And I think the first stage for me is always the transfer market, and I think Pirates have definitely won. I think they've won the transfer market this season. I think they've made brilliant signings. I'm a bit worried that they may have signed too many players. Joe, you can speak on this because I'm sure in the past you've seen Pirates have these winners. I think Sundowns used to do the same thing where they bring in like 14 players and you think, okay.
All announced at once as well.
All announced at once. But I think if you take what I would call the marquee signings, the main signings for me, I think you'll recall that on the first episode of this show, I said that I think Pirates, if they want to win the league, they've got two brilliant midfielders in Mbata and Makaula. Very good. But I felt they needed something extra in midfield if they are to challenge for the league.
Yeah.
And since then, that's exactly what's happened. They've got Nduli, they've got Mbule. I think that midfield combination for me looks insane. I think it really improves their chances. I think Apollos is obviously a massive signing. Can see already from the game he played yesterday the difference he makes and that. And there are other signings. Time will tell if they are ready for Pirates and that. We'll see. But yeah, I think I'm very happy with what Pirates have done. I like how the team is looking. I like what the new coach has done. He has not changed too much. He didn't come in with a big ego saying, I want to step on authority. I'm going to change everything. He's basically taken a lot of what was done already last season. And I think he's just added different layers to it. And yeah, I like it. I really like it. I'm very happy with that. I'm seeing with the Pirates.
Okay. And I mean, we saw the MTN game yesterday.
Yeah.
Pirates won 2-0. I mean, Mbule,
Some player, eh?
incredible.
I think Joe, you saw Sipho and Tebza coming up
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, I
mean,
remember going to one of those youth tournaments, and they were both playing for Harmony FC at the time.
Yeah.
Tebza and Sipo, obviously, same WhatsApp group. Those two, and obviously their careers have gone in slightly different paths. I think, possibly in terms of raw talent, I think maybe Sipo's a potentially slightly better player than Tebza is, but in terms of
Interesting.
Tebza's mentality, man, like Tebza is. Don't get me wrong, that's not me saying he's not a phenomenally good footballer.
Yeah.
Because Tebza, for me, is one of the best players I've seen come out of South Africa in recent years. I think I'll always there'll always be a bit of a what if with me with Tebza in terms of playing overseas and what he could have done. Look, nothing wrong with playing at Sundowns and doing what he's done. He's achieved a lot. He's won a lot. But I think if Sipo can get himself in gear properly, like he's got all the potential in the world. Like we've seen his ability to open up backlines and find that little bit of X factor, that little bit of something special, is remarkable. And I think he's the sort of X factor that Pirates could really do with. I remember seeing him, and the one that always sticks out for me was his goal at TP Mazembe.
The Confed Cup
In
for SuperSport.
Lubumbashi. I was at that game, and I tell you what, that's an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Sure.
Crazy.
Being in Lubumbashi that day, I think I was like the only white guy in the entire stadium. But like being there for that game, and like the way that Sipo was able to sort of stamp his authority on it. But yeah, I think, I mean, look, SuperSport is again. Maybe we'll touch on it later, but like the fact that SuperSport aren't there anymore, considering what they've produced over the years, and obviously Tebza and Sipo are part of that, having picked them up from Harmony. I'm really excited to see what Pirates can do with Sipo, because I think what Pirates have done in recent years has actually been a little bit undervalued because they haven't touched Sundowns yet.
Yeah.
You know, like the work that Pirates have done. Obviously, they've won a few trophies and that kind of thing, but unfortunately, they've just not been able to take that league title off Sundowns. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure anybody is anytime soon, because Sundowns
Could be 10 in a row.
they're too far ahead, man. Like they're too far ahead. With the money they bring in, because of how good they are, I just don't see how that gap closes. But I think that Pirates are doing a lot of good. I think a lot of the work that they're doing is really impressive, and they seem to be a well put together football club at the moment.
Yeah. I think obviously the biggest question now is, yes, they're doing well, but are they doing well enough to catch up with Sundowns?
I don't think anyone can. Like I genuinely like. I think the way that Sundowns are at the moment, I'm not sure anyone. People will beat them. Do you know what I mean? People will beat them in games.
Head to head.
Once off game.
Once off, they can knock them out in a cup. I don't see how anybody wins enough games over the course of a season to usurp Sundowns, because their strength in depth is mad. Like their quality is incredible. Like they've also got, because of the way that they've been as a football club for so long, they've just got this winning mentality now. Whether it's the youngsters that are coming through, the players they sign, when you've got someone like Mshishi still there, like you turn up to training and you see Tembazwane there, you're like, like these are proper footballers. You're like, because you look at someone like Mshishi, he's not going to let levels dip. Like if there's that group of Sundowns players that have won so much and achieved so much. If they see anybody in training who's not where they need to be, they'll be like, we don't do that here. Like so their mentality is different to everybody else, and because they have the finances to back it up, it just makes it even more difficult for anyone to get near him.
I think it's such a crazy example to make, because if you think about it, right, we're talking about Mbule and how great it could be for Pirates. Sundowns literally just released them. That's the craziness when you're thinking about
Yeah.
depth
Yeah.
in terms of the team, in terms of the quality that they actually have. So it's going to be very difficult. I mean, and when you're looking at it going forward, I mean, I also don't see how, I don't see them losing the league title. I mean, you can beat them in the cups. It's going to be very difficult.
You know what I think? So yesterday when I was watching the Pirates game, I actually, because saw the Pirates 11. Funny enough, Pirates started almost exactly the way I had predicted.
Yeah.
I think there was one difference. I went with Mahope up front. They started with Radio Pani, but it's exactly the lineup that I thought. Oh, and I went with Van Rooyen. They went with Shandu, right? And I did a comparison between the Pirates 11 that started and what I think would be the best Sundowns 11.
Yeah.
And I went player to player.
Okay.
It's very close.
You think?
It's extremely close.
But that's the problem.
Is it close on paper though?
And that's the thing. So I think what it
Like, is it when you look at it and you say it's close? Like, is it close in terms of if both teams showed up at 100%?
Yeah.
Then it's close.
Yes.
The thing is that Sundowns have the consistency, don't they?
That's what and that's for me, that's the main thing. Funny enough, when I thought about it, that whether or not Sundowns can catch Pirates, I mean, Pirates can catch Sundowns, it's the same thing as whether or not Mbule can become a better player than Debza, because I saw on Twitter everyone is already saying, if we're being honest, he's actually a better player.
Yeah.
And you say he's a more naturally gifted player, and I tend to agree.
But this is it's not a better player, is it? It's a better potential, and potential means nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if Pirates can keep the consistency, I think in fact, they're playing on the 1st of November. I think we need to be there, by the way. I think it's going to be epic. If you put them on the field,
It is, by the way, the best game in South Africa.
it's by far. I know the derby special, but Pirates and Sundowns.
Atmosphere-wise, the Soweto derby is untouchable. But in terms of actual game,
the quality of the
Sundowns
game,
Pirates, man, it's for years it's been the best game in South Africa.
It has, and I think if you can Pirates match Sundowns on their day, I think they can. But I think that's where the difference is. Sundowns know how to win 6, 7, 8 games in a row.
I think that the big difference for Sundowns and everybody else is that everyone has to be at their very, very best to beat Sundowns.
All times, yeah.
Sundowns can beat anybody at 50%.
Yeah. And I think it also goes to I think Sundowns have this depth that is insane.
That's the problem, I think, yeah.
When Pirates made changes yesterday, and I thought the level dropped, but at Sundowns it doesn't drop. Sailor is injured. He's the Bafana right back. Guess who plays?
Yeah.
The Bafana second choice right back. Tapelo Mrena comes in, you know.
Yeah.
Grant is out. No problem. Cupido comes in.
Yeah.
Libusa is out. Mvala comes in. And if Pirates can get that right and they get some consistency, I think we're in for a good season.
Okay. I think, even when we're talking players now, and especially Pirates, we spoke about Nkota. He's going to Saudi. We still have the question mark over Rele Mofokeng, who's the darling of South African football currently right now. What do you think happens with Rele this season? Do you think he leaves? Do you think it's a season too soon? And also, a lot of people are saying, no, he mustn't go to Saudi. He must go to Europe. But if the Europeans are not coming and the Saudis are coming, is it such a bad thing if he does go to Saudi?
Saudi's an interesting league these days because it's not like at one point it was seen as this league that you just kind of went to make your money and that was done. But like that's not really how it is anymore. Like with Nkota going there, like there is potential if he goes well and does well, you can get signed from the Saudi league. You know, it's not like people go there and you're like just in a dustbin and you go make your money and you're left to just do that forever. Like people are watching that league now. You see the way that like some of their clubs did at the Club World Cup recently. Like they compete, man. Like they've got some good and you're playing with like mad players as well. You know, you go over to Saudi and with Nkota, like he's playing with like
top
you're not going and like just randomly running around doing nothing and making a load of money. Like they're playing with big footballers, and there's a lot of growth to be had there. Look, I think everyone wants to see South African players go and play at big clubs in Europe and that kind of thing. But I've sort of been beating this drum for a long time. But like the last couple of years in general, the amount of South African players going and playing other places, like just generally away from South Africa, is so good to see. Because it's like it's it's needed. Like South Africa has needed this diversity within its players, and you only get that by playing in different leagues. You know, it's not all about just going and right, we've got to be in the Premier League. Like you go and you like obviously with Luke LaRue going and signing for Pompey, you know, Portsmouth are a big football club. Like they're in the Championship, but that's it's a proper
institution.
Club. Like all these things, it all gives Hugo Broos like options. Like it gives him options, and I think with Mofokeng, like he's gonna go where he's gonna go. Like at this point, someone will take him, whether it's now or whether it's January or this next summer. He's gonna go because that kid can play, man.
Special.
Like that kid has got something, and do you know what is I suppose the most impressive for me with Mofokeng is his ability in the big moments is so beyond his years. Like he's not like this like shrinking violet just sort of pitches up against the so-called smaller clubs. Like he's a big game player, and to do that at his age and have that mentality is something that can't be taught. Like you can't coach that. That's just something you have or you don't.
100% special player, fully.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay, I think there's other teams obviously, and just lastly on Pirates, they have a new coach.
Yeah,
it wasn't everybody's first choice.
Yeah,
from a fan base perspective. But I mean, looking at what we just said and the players that they've got in, what does success look like? I mean, for us to say that Pirates actually had a good season, what does that look like?
It's trophies, man. Like literally, when I say trophies, I mean any trophy. Because we are at a stage in South African football where if Sundowns won every single trophy in South Africa, no one would be surprised. So I think if you can damage that at all, it's a successful season. Like obviously you want to close that gap. You want to get yourself closer to where Sundowns are, but they got a big head start.
Yeah.
And every year that start, like look at the money they brought in from the Club World Cup, for instance. Yeah. That puts them in a stratosphere that other people can't get close to. They don't have the kind of expendable income that Sundowns have. So I think for any team in South Africa, if you stop Sundowns winning a trophy,
it's a good season.
It's a good season. Like genuinely, I think the gap is that big now.
See, for me, I think for Pirates, I think it's winning the league. Unfortunately.
So if they don't win the league,
because look, let's look at what they've done. I mean, they've been winning trophies for a few years now.
Yeah.
They've been to a Champions League semi-final, which we didn't expect, which was brilliant. What if you're gonna progress? If you're gonna say you've improved, what is it? It has to be. If not winning the league, then at least if we have proper title race, if we have a real title race, that
I think that's a fair one. If you win a trophy and make a real go of it, because that's what we've been in situations where Sundowns are like, we've got 5 games left, and it's like, oh yep, it's done, it's finished.
I mean, literally right now it happens every season. Yeah, literally.
But you know what I want to ask you is like, when I watched Pirates yesterday, right? And I don't know, I was actually tempted to wear my Pirates shirt this morning because I'm just so excited about the team, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, right? From the time you've been, covering football and, big players, do you believe there's something called players that are meant or made to play for like a Pirates or a Chiefs?
100%.
And when you look at this team now, which of those players give you that kind of excitement?
I think Mofokeng's a perfect example. I think some people are meant to play for big clubs.
Yep.
They're big moment players.
Yep.
And I think that you find that at every level, every country, the people that are made for those kinds of games.
Yep.
And they will, but I also think the opposite is true as well. I think there are certain players that it doesn't make them a bad player. It doesn't give them bad mentality. They are just better suited to certain clubs and certain teams, which is why the amount of times we see in global football, players will sign for a massive team and it doesn't go well. Everyone goes, this guy's useless. It's like, no, he's just not suited here. It doesn't mean that he's not a good footballer. Like he maybe isn't suited to this kind of thing. But I think at there were definitely players that are suited to playing for big clubs and have those big moments in them. I think look at Sundowns now with Reyners and the way that he has settled in.
Yeah.
Like he's got it. Do you know what I mean? Like up here, he's got it because he's like, I'm not messing about here. I'm here to win stuff. And I think you don't always get that, and which is why we've seen over the years how many times and talking PSL alone, how many times have we seen a player playing for just a normal mid-level
and they
club,
do well, but when
they're flying, they're scoring loads of goals or they're creating loads, and then they join Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns, and they just can't quite hack it. Because they don't. It's not even a slight on them. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think that there's a lot to be said for the players that can take that step up, because that is. It's why when people talk about mentality, like mentality is a lot of the time more important than actual talent, because you've got to be able to do it. You've got to be able to do it with tens of thousands of people screaming at you and giving it this one and like you've got to be able to handle that.
Because I see that now in the Paris team. Yeah, I see that.
Big game players.
I look at who's this kid, the left centre back.
Bogas, yeah.
I look at him and I think, this is a Pirates player. Like I don't know how to explain, but when you see it.
No, 100%.
I look at Mbule and I'm like, this is a big team player. I look at Nduli, I feel the same way. I look at Apollos, look at Rele. It's exciting times. Let's see how it goes.
I hope we have a crackover season. I hope we see a little bit more of a challenge.
I just want to see a title race, man. Like I want to be able to watch South African football at the end of the season. And
final game of the season.
It's like close. It's close.
Like you know when you have those final games of the season and there's permutations, like these ones need to win by 3 goals and all of those types of things, because we haven't had that for a while. So hopefully we'll have some of that. And I mean, talking about an exciting season, Kaizer Chiefs is so important to South African football, bro. Like that's probably the biggest institution in South African football when we're looking at heritage and history. And
a healthy Kaizer Chiefs is a healthy PSL.
100%.
For sure.
I mean, guys, look at what Kaizer Chiefs has done, right? They lost their captain, Maart. They brought in Monyani from Pirates and Maku from Pirates, left and right back from Pirates, and Flavio. I mean, I think those are the notable signings. And we know the type of season that they had last year. They didn't make the top 8, which is quite bad. I mean, I'm sure even when you're looking at the MTNs and Netbanks, the sponsors, they want the best teams or the biggest teams to be playing in those competitions. So they want the Kaizer Chiefs to be playing in a top 8 competition. How do you guys see, I mean, and the coach is still the same, obviously, from last season. I mean, how do you see this season going for Kaizer Chiefs? Do you think the coach is onto something? Will have a bit of a different season? Do you think the additions that they've made are actually making them a better team than, obviously how they performed last season? I think, just to start it off there.
Listen, I mean, let's be fair to them. We're recording an hour before they play. Let's see. From what I watched in preseason, I was not impressed. Because you see where Chiefs are currently versus the size of the club and the institution. I think they need drastic improvements. And based on what I saw in the off season, I didn't really see it. But let's be fair on them. Maybe Nabi's cooking and we will see the results today. But yeah, I'm not really sold by the signings. I thought they needed a stronger transfer window. I expected them to compete for the Mbulis, for the Apollos, because they really need to start hit the ground running. So I'm not really too impressed. But like I said, let's be fair on them and let's see. I don't know what you think, Joe.
It's I find it really sad what's happened with Chiefs. Like when I moved to South Africa, 2011, 2012, 13, Stuart Baxter came in. And I remember that transfer window was unreal from them. They sound like Morgan Gould. They signed Mpho, Tsepo Masilela. Like and I mean,
team, bro.
Like that Chiefs team. I look back and it was like Itu, Mpho, Tefu, Morgan, Tsepo, Yeye, Shaba. Like that squad, man, like that Chiefs team, Willard Katsande in the middle, and Willard went from being like this breaker to under Stuart Baxter being one of the best defensive midfielders I've seen in the PSL.
Yeah.
Like, and they had this team and this ethic and this mentality that was so strong. And obviously Stuart was backed in that specifically in that first window. And they went on and did some great things. I don't think I've seen Chiefs have a window since then that you looked at the entire window as a whole and went, that's unreal. Like that's unbelievable. But you do see that with, we've seen it with Pirates, we've seen it with Chiefs, with
Sundowns when they need
where
to.
you've seen looked at an entire transfer window and gone, yeah, that's proper. Like that's like they've done everything they need to do. But I don't think we've seen that, and that was 2012. So it's a long time ago. Don't get me wrong; they've made some good signings, and they've made signings that have been like really strong and have really positively affected the side. But I don't think we've seen a Chiefs window that has been, as a collective, like a wow, a wow window. Whereas I look at that one, and that window in particular, you're just like, yeah, they're proper going for it. Yeah, like this is serious, and they were, for. 3 years they won the double. Like and then they just up until this past season hadn't won anything since. Since Stuart left that first time around. But they are a vital, like a huge part of South African football, and the fact that they, like I saw when they won their first trophy again last year, South Africa lights up, man. Like South Africa, like.
When Chiefs does well, the country does well.
No, genuinely, like there is obviously there's an argument for, the status of where the big three are and what they provide. Like Sundowns are the best team in the country. Yeah, it's not a question. Pirates are almost like that middle. Like right now, they are a better team than Chiefs.
Comfortably. Yeah.
They're bigger than Sundowns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas Chiefs are worse than Pirates and Sundowns, but bigger than both.
They're bigger than both.
Like as a brand, as a
100%,
club. And South African football is better off when Kaizer Chiefs are doing well, because they are they're a behemoth. Like they are a huge football club. The amount of times, like I said, I was back home for 5 years. Their shirts are everywhere, man. Like even in the UK,
really?
It's and I think especially where I'm from in Sheffield, because it's Yorkshire, and like Lucas Ribeiro, Lucas is a big deal. I was going to swear then. Lucas is a big deal.
Safe space.
he's a big deal in Leeds. Like there's like buses named after him and stuff. Like so like people know Kaizer Chiefs, and obviously the band as well. Like see Chief shirts everywhere, man. Like music festivals. Go to music festivals, there's always a few Chief shirts there. Like they are a big football club, and I really hope that at some point they get back to where they should be, because going back to what we said in the start, like South African football is a better place when Kaizer Chiefs are challenging, when they're doing well.
Okay. And we have a player like, for instance, Percy Tau. I mean, he's done it at Sundowns, very good player. Did it at Al Ahly, very good player. Is there a reason why Percy is still a free agent? Do you think like a player like that could come into Chiefs and give him something?
I think, and obviously we don't know. We don't know the reasons, but I suspect that you'll recall the Chiefs signed Lebogang Manyama when he came back from Turkey. I mean, must have been a big money deal, obviously. Didn't really work out. He was unlucky. I mean, he got injured and all. They signed Keegan Dolly. Obviously, big money as well. Didn't work out. They signed Billiat. Didn't work out. They signed Castro. Didn't work out. So maybe, and it's a big maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a sense from the Chiefs management that, listen, we've tried this thing of signing the experienced, tried and tested players. I mean, I was surprised, for example, when Chiefs were not jumping to sign Kamu. When he was available on a free, and maybe that's what it is, and maybe that's why they are not jumping to sign like a Percy.
Look, with that kind of thing, there is too much unknown to really speculate about it. Because you don't know what the what the circumstances are. You don't know what their mindset is in terms of what they're looking for. They might not be going that direction.
Yeah.
Like you say that they have had players in the past that have been big players, and for whatever reason it's not worked out, and they might be going, well, we need to take a different strategy here. Like we don't want to do that again. Look, I mean, Percy's phenomenal. Like Percy's an incredible footballer. Those breakout seasons when he was coming through at Sundowns, and I think he would add to any single club in the PSL.
But what's confusing about Chiefs, so if you decide, well, we're not going for the experienced, very expensive players, high earners, whatever, fine. But then why are you not going for, the players in their prime, your Mbulis, your Apollos, Why are you not trying to find the best foreign talent? It's like I'm just not sure what their strategy is.
They feel a little bit like Man United to me. They obviously are the biggest draw in South Africa in terms of the name.
Yeah.
Same with Man United. Man United are like an institution in the UK. They will always be able to sign players because they're Man United.
Yeah.
And I think Chiefs, but they've kind of lost their way a little bit. So United don't really seem to know what's going on. They don't really have much of a strategy. Like they brought Amarim in, and it's like it's a little bit all over the place still. And I feel like Chiefs are on a similar sort of a similar point in their history at the moment. Like it'll flip. It always flips. The tables always turn, and it comes back around, and United will be a top team again at some point. And I feel the same with Chiefs. It's just, it must be really difficult from a fan perspective for Chiefs, because they have been waiting for that to turn for quite a while now. I think the fact that they won something last year is big, because it gets that, it kills the stigma. Like for so long, when they were like losing cup finals to TS Galaxy and things like that, you do get to a point, it's like, is this it now? Like, is this it forever? So I think just to win that first trophy was obviously big for them, but they need to, and I say this, and all cards on the table. I haven't watched loads of Kaizer Chiefs in the last couple of years, but it does feel like they kind of lost their way a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as they are able to get back on track and get back to where they want to be and get something going again, they'll be a force, because they have a draw that nobody else in this country has.
Do you know anything about the guy they've signed from?
Ethan Chislett. Yeah. So Ethan, he actually played for Port Vale last year. It's a very exciting sign, actually. So Ethan, I watched him play AFC Wimbledon beforehand. Okay. He worked with his manager at Port Vale last year was a guy called Darren Moore, who I know very well, because Darren was Sheffield Wednesday manager. He got us promoted a few years back. And Darren had a lot of good things to say about Ethan. It was a bit of a left field move, like it was I think when he popped up here, a lot of people were like, oh, okay. Yeah. Because I think he's, a lot of people maybe don't even know he's South African, like, because he's, I know his dad played, he's from, I think, Durban originally.
From Durban, yeah.
But yeah, like Ethan, he did well, did well in League 2, League 1. He's played in the UK for quite a while. It's an interesting one. I think.
What is the standard? A League 1, League 2 versus the biggest teams in South Africa?
That I get asked that so much, and it's impossible to say. Like, that's not me sitting on the fence or copping out. Like, the problem you've got is that I think that the standard of teams and organization and everything becomes so difficult to compare, purely because you look at, like, Sundowns. I think Sundowns, you could put Sundowns into an English league, and in terms of technical ability, they would be light years ahead.
Yeah.
But they get absolutely battered. Like, I don't mean like in results, as in like League 2 and League 1 are physical leagues.
Very physical.
So, like, if you see these guys trying their little shabobas and stuff, like, you're getting wiped out. Like you're
getting clattered.
some league, some big 6'4" League Two centre back is gonna be like, no, we don't do that here. So like it's difficult to say. I mean, you look at as an example like Dean Furman.
Yeah,
Dean came here and was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like Dean was just a good level, League Two, League One, Championship. He played around those divisions. But what Dean did really well isn't something that a lot of South African players have.
Sure.
Like South African players are technically gifted. Sorry, Dean. I'm not saying you're not technically gifted. But like, Dean knows what he is. Like Dean is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he knows what he is as a footballer. Like he is. He will give 100% for everything. He will run through brick walls for you. He'll tackle. He'll keep it simple. All that kind of stuff. But Dean came here and was brilliant.
Some of the best in the league, comfortably.
Yeah, but then in the UK, there was teams there that he maybe couldn't quite get into and things like that. So it's a really, I think from both sides, it's a really unfair comparison because there are too many. There's too many moving parts to really go, right, well, this is this is comparative and this is comparative. Like I think there's certain players that would do well in League One, Championship, that kind of thing. I also think on the flip side, you could take some of the best players in the Championship, bring them here, and they'll struggle.
Yeah.
For various reasons. Like the game's different, the pitches are different. Come to Joburg, man. It's high here.
Yeah.
The altitude will get you. Like all those kinds of things. Like it's very difficult to have that sort of that comparison, which is why, sort of looping back to what we said earlier, why it's important for players to play at these different places. Because I do think that a lot of South Africans would maybe look down on a League One or a League Two. But you learn a lot from playing there. You learn a lot from being in divisions like that. And your game will either benefit or it won't.
Yeah.
And if it benefits, fantastic. You can be an asset somewhere else.
Yeah.
But like it's like I said, I get asked that a lot, and I often get asked like, oh, what kind of South African players would fit in like in the Sheffield Wednesday team, for instance. Yeah. I'm like, look, there's loads that I'd have. There's loads, but like whether they can do it when they get there,
it's another story.
Is a completely different story, and it's also an unknown because that happens, as we said earlier, in every team in the world. You can take the best player on the planet, stick him in League One, see what he gets.
It's going to be tricky. I think, even talking about League One, Championship, and all of those types of things. Kamohelo Mokocho, he played for Brentford while they were in the championship, right?
Yeah.
How was he? Did you get to see any of his games?
Yeah, I went to watch him play a couple of times.
Special player.
Like I think he's one of genuinely. I feel like he's one of the most underappreciated players this country's produced in 20 years. I think the way that Camo plays is not really understood by a lot of people here. I think the perfect example when you're talking about Camo and what he offers is Camo was at Pek Zwolle, he was at SC Twente, and Brentford wanted him because obviously Brentford were Moneyball, like they're stats people. Like so they saw Camo and they saw what Camo did and how Camo played, and they're like, right, that's the sort of player we want. They couldn't get him. And instead of going, oh, well, that's that, they just keep watching him. And he's like, is he still doing the things we want? Is he still hitting the numbers we want? Like, we want someone who's good in possession. We want someone who's calm under pressure. Like, all this kind of stuff. And because he was, they still went after him. And, like, you don't get signed by Brentford. Look at the success stories, man. Like, their hit rate these days is so strong. Like you look at Mpho,
he's just going to Man United. Like, played with Camo, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there was one game. I can't remember if Camo played in it or not. Brentford beat us 5-0 at their place at Griffin Park. It was an annihilation. Like it was embarrassing. It was just before. It was the last game. Actually, it was the last game before COVID. So we lost. We got battered by Brentford just before COVID, and then that was our last game for ages. So we just had to sit on that.
So that's gonna you're gonna sit with it for a while.
But like the Camo is he's the sort of player that because of the way that he plays, I think can be underappreciated. But I don't mean this in like oh, I know football and you don't. Like, but I do think there's an element of like people that watch football to watch football rather than just looking at the stats and
Yeah.
just looking at the goals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Camo's a proper footballer, man. Like
No, I agree.
like
I
a
agree.
really and it's not just his ability, it's his brain,
Yeah.
and that is something that again can't be taught.
Yeah.
You either have that or you don't. And Camo's football IQ
Mm.
is through the roof, man.
Still a free agent.
Last I checked.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how that one ends up.
Yeah.
I think taking it back home again, South African football, Mamelodi Sundowns. They've lost some players. We spoke about Mbule. Maema, I don't know what's going on there. There's talks of him going to Simba or something with Fadli Davids there. I think Diruyok also is at Simba currently as we speak. And obviously they haven't really signed a lot. But
They don't need to.
They don't need to.
but there's also chats of Lucas Ribeiro leaving the team and getting a transfer.
That is one that would hurt him.
Yeah.
It
Because
would.
he's really, really good at football.
Really good.
Like, because that's the thing with Sundowns. That Sundowns don't really lose players if they don't want to lose
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
They don't need the money.
Yeah.
No one can offer better chances to win silverware. But then there are teams, elsewhere in the continent, and other places that maybe can pull a bit more on.
Sure.
And yeah, losing Ribeiro would be big for them because he's just very, very good.
Yeah.
And I think that he's that kind of X factor that they have that is able to pull out a moment. You saw his goal in the Club World Cup, the one that won goal of the tournament and stuff. Like he's a really impressive footballer. And it's not often you see Sundowns lose players that they don't want to lose. But he is one that, if the money's right, he might fancy it himself. That'd be a blow to them. But the difference is, I think, again, going back to what we said earlier, they'd still be fine. Like they'd
Still favourites to win the league.
Yeah, they could lose arguably their best player, and you just go, still good though, aren't they? Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's
no.
like they as you said earlier, like they have so much depth in terms of every position that he could leave, and they would be worse off without him.
Yeah. But they would still be
better than
everyone else. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they signed Basidine.
Yeah.
But did they really need Basidine? I mean, you look at that position; it's pretty stacked already as it is. I mean,
I like that. I think it's a good piece of business. I'm a big fan of Basidine as a player. Right? So what I like about Sundowns, and Joe, I'm sure you've seen this. When you arrived, it's probably during the era where Sundowns were buying.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Like 10 players.
Sundowns back then, it was madness, and it wasn't working. Like when I first came, Sundowns were like there was the one season they were almost getting relegated, and you're looking at the squad going, they've got 400 players. Like they were just at one point they were signing. It almost felt like they were signing just so other people couldn't have them.
Yeah,
like either so other people couldn't have them, or to weaken their opponents to the point when they just made themselves stronger, even if they had no intention of using players. And then Pitso came.
And he changed all of that.
Changed everything.
Yeah.
Pitso is, and maybe I'm overstepping, I would say Pitso is the single most important thing that's happened to Mamelodi Sundowns. Obviously, taking Patrice Motsepe and
his purse.
And his ownership. But from a football perspective, no signing that they made has been bigger than appointing Pitso when they appointed him, changed the entire trajectory of football in this country. And for Sundowns, the football club, like the man is, he's unbelievable. What Pitso did for Sundowns cannot be understated.
Yeah. And I think that's where they are now. I mean, you can see Pirates have been very busy, but Sundowns are not doing much because I think they're at a point where they only sign what they really need. Unless they think you really want to improve them, they don't really sign you.
They went from going quantity to quality, and that was the shift.
I mean, look at Jaden Adams. They signed him and he just arrived and just gave them something completely different. And I think Basadine gives them that because Mudiba, for me, still my favorite left back in the league, right? But there are question marks, I would say, sometimes about his defensive ability, right? Also remember that Mudiba is also very comfortable playing as an 8. He's very
Yeah.
comfortable in midfield. So maybe they want to.
Well, the thing with Orbs is so technically gifted as a footballer. Like,
Exactly.
you could practically use him anywhere.
Exactly.
Like,
So-
he's so good on the ball, and
Yeah.
again, another one with a very good football
brain can play as an 8 or 6, whatever.
Yeah, he's got the ability to do that. And I think that with Sundowns and where they're at in terms of signing wise, they're a bit smarter now than what they used to be in terms of what they're doing. They've also booked that trend a little bit. Look, it's not every player's a success, but there was a point when they were signing players, and you're like, I know they're not going to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 3 years later they leave, having played 4 games.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, obviously we all
We
saw
all
that
knew.
coming. But with the way they've been working it more in recent years is that, like, when Ronza went, people were like, oh, is he going to play then?
But
Yep.
look at it. Yeah.
When Tebza joined Sundowns, there was a lot of like, oh, that's it for him.
I mean, Grant.
Yeah.
Who could have
Yeah.
thought,
And Grant had to adapt his game in order to get into that team, and did it. Like, because his, again, and this comes down to back what I was saying earlier, mentality. It's the ability to adapt and to adjust to your surroundings and be able to handle the pressure and the big moments. And Sundowns have signed very well in that respect in recent years. Basically just by signing everybody from Supersport.
Yep.
Oh my word. I think just on the Sundowns topic, it's Sunday, guys. Sundowns are playing today. So first thing, easy win for Sundowns today. I mean, there's no such thing as an easy win, but is it a win for Sundowns? And also, from a Sundowns perspective, well, we expect them to win the league,
Of course.
right?
We expect them to win everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's a successful season for Mamelodi Sundowns? I mean, for Cardoso to say that Miguel Cardoso
Africa,
had a
man. It's
Yeah.
all
Champions
African
League.
football
It's
now.
Champions League, man.
Champions League, nah?
Yeah.
They're bigger than the PSL in terms of their aspirations. Like that is because if they don't win the league, it's a bad season for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's a disaster if they
It's a
don't win the
disaster.
league. Yeah.
I mean, they need to
The
win
thing
the
is, it
Champions
is, but
League.
it's also not, because like they like you look at they don't need to balance their books
Yeah.
financially. Winning the league is
It doesn't really.
neither
Doesn't
here nor
really
there
make
to
a
them
difference.
anymore.
Yeah.
Because they earn so much from everything else that they do, and
Yeah.
the because they compete on so many various different. Like you would expect Sundowns to be in the latter stages of the Champions League regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
And what the way that CAF has expanded in recent years is really great. Like
Yeah.
what's happened with African football in general, like the whole CAF setup has been, and the sponsors that have been brought in, and the financial benefits to playing in it and stuff now, like it's really impressive what's happening within African football at the moment. And that's where Sundowns are at now. Like they that is where their focus is and where it should be.
They're not far. I mean, if you think about it, Sundowns, they only lost the Champions League because of moments.
Yeah.
It's just those critical moments, mistake here and there. But they have to win the Champions League now, unfortunately. And I know that's very difficult, but they have to do it. That's where they are as a club, unfortunately. I think anything... Look, if they win the league convincingly and maybe pick up 2 trophies and make another final...
Fun anymore. Like when you're when you're a Sundowns fan, it's just like, oh yeah,
Another
finally,
league title.
oh, win it again.
Come on.
We only won it by 10 points this year.
and you'll remember that one thing that Rulani just could not do was to make the final.
Yeah.
They've not done that. They've broken that curse. So what's next?
They need to win it.
They have to win it.
Yeah.
I think also just talking about aspirations and ambitions. Joe, we just watched them in the Club World Cup. We covered this a bit in the previous episode, man. But what's your take from the performances and how they performed in that competition, and what it can potentially mean for their future in terms of and South African football?
I really liked how true to themselves they were.
Mm.
I think when you go to those kinds of competitions, there's maybe a temptation to change the way you play, to shut up shop a little bit, to try and rather try not to lose than try and win. And I don't think Sundowns did that. I think they were very true to themselves in the way that they play and what they want to do. And I think that was recognized as well, like globally. The amount of praise that Sundowns came in for, like people just going, they're great fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's what you want, because that's what South African football's about. Like, so rightly or wrongly, South African football is about entertainment. It's about joy. Like we We see it with with the way that Diski is played and all that kind of stuff. South African football is different. It's got its own flavor, like genuinely, like it's got its own vibe and stuff. And I think the fact that Sundowns were so true to that on an international stage and did well as well, like because I think there was a bit of a what's the word? Bit of an awakening, I suppose.
Yeah.
The last Club World Cup they played at,
Yeah.
and they were playing against the Korean team. I think it was Suwon.
Yeah, they got battered.
And
Absolutely battered.
They got messed up. And there was a lot of people like, well, this is like a Korean football team.
Yeah.
Like, where are we at? It's like, no, what has happened is you have done to Korean football what a lot of Europeans do to African football and undervalued it and underestimated their quality. And I think that Sundowns were a lot better prepared this time around. They had a few players that were still there, like Dennis Onyango, Shishi, Tapula Morena, like they were all part of that. So it was 2016, I think it was.
Yeah.
So there was a bit more experience on that front to play on a global scale, but like they really made a go of it, and I think that's all you can ask.
Were they a bit naive?
No, I don't think so, because you could say they're naive, and maybe they should have been a bit more pragmatic in the way that they played. That's no fun, is it? Like, I know you want to win in that, but but ultimately they were never going to.
They were never going to win the tournament anyway.
No,
So rather, look, if you have the ability to go all the way, playing like that, and you can be a little bit like what the argument with England was in the World Cups recently. They were World Cup and the Euro. They were a bit, a bit too within themselves, and they got to the final playing that way. And if England had won the World Cup like that or won the Euros like that, everyone would have gone, great. Who cares? Like, I don't care if we played well or not. But like, if you're trying to give a good account of yourself, because ultimately they would have been beaten by.
Listen, they're never going to beat PSG or
PSG, Real Madrid.
They never.
Ultimately, they would have been knocked out. And if you're going to get knocked out, do it your way, because people will respect that more than if they'd gone to the Club World Cup and tried to not lose. People at home would have gone, well, they're not properly representing us as a country and how we play our football. People there who don't know Sundowns, you're forgettable.
They're just another small team trying
just
to
a
survive.
club that turned up, lost,
it did a lot for their brand,
and then was on your way. But what they did was they opened up the world. Their colours are cool. They look like Brazil. They play nice football. Like, South African fans are great. Like the way that they played was fun, and Ribeiro's goal was great. So everyone left that Club World Cup going, I'm going to keep an eye on them. I like.
It's good for the players too.
100%. Yeah, like you're getting to rub shoulders with serious, like elite level athletes, and show that you've got something. Like, and I think that that is great for Sundowns. It's great for South Africa. It's great for the national team. Like the benefits to Sundowns going and playing the way that they did at the Club World Cup has such far-reaching consequences. And for me, rather get knocked out in the group stages doing that than
Fair enough.
try and not
lose
way
to look at it,
and maybe lose anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I think also just stepping away from the big three a bit. We're seeing what's going on with Cape Town City and Marumo Gallants and this whole saga that's going on. Joe,
Tired, man.
Gentlemen, like, what is going on? And I saw there's a fine of sorts. Is that the end of it? Are there any more permutations? Are there appeals? What's going on with this whole situation?
Well, I mean, like I say, I haven't followed it closely enough to speak with any authority, but I would imagine they'll appeal, because I can't imagine they just wanted a fine.
I don't think that's what they were there for.
But they're always like, it's been this way for a long time. It always feels like there's an asterisk waiting to happen in South African football. It's like there's yes, we've been relegated, but can we try and get out of it?
Yeah.
Like whether that's by buying a club and just just buying promotion, which is apparently a thing you can do. We should not be allowed. But there's too much of it. It's too regular. Like the administrative problems within the PSL, and this is not this is not a now thing. This is not a now problem. It's been this way for a long time. I think it's really sad. I think because it takes away from the football, from the product, and I look at the league as it was when I first moved here. I think there's maybe 5 teams that are still as they were. Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Arrows. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Maybe
There's team.
Chipper. I think Chipper.
Oh, Chipper, yeah, Chipper. But like obviously they've had their own issues. But like when Blum Celtic disappeared, that was it for me. When a team like Blum Celtic, with their heritage, with their history, Wits as well, like 100 years just gone, just like. I mean, and the thing is, like with Blum Celtic, like they were just kind of they're fans. Like I remember doing a Chiefs game in the Free State. Chiefs won 3-0, and the Blum Celtic fans were just like phenomenal. Like they just watched the team get battered, and they were just unreal, man. And they just lost their team. Just one day that just didn't exist anymore. And like this idea that we can just take over a team, change the name, move provinces, maybe buy promotion if you fancy it. Like it's just when you don't have meritocracy in football anymore, it kind of makes a bit of a mockery of it all.
Well, I mean, even when you look at it, right? I mean, it's happening to SuperSport, right? It's happened actually to SuperSport, right? And you look at SuperSport as an institution. I mean, remember that SuperSport team that had Tokelo, right? Richard Ranti, Dane Clate, you know, all those players, Matsatanza, you know, there was an identity about the
when
team.
Gavin was manager and stuff like that.
100%. You know, even before Gavin, when Peter was the manager too, you know, it had an identity, and the people of
the academy, the
academy, and the players.
Their academy is probably the most successful in the country.
Along with Ajax. Most successful.
SuperSport
and the School of Excellence going back, I guess.
But Ajax. But the thing is with SuperSport, it's been consistent like forever. Like you look back in, like you mentioned, like Dane Clate came through. But there's been the Dane Clate era, the
Kermit era.
the
Bibo.
Kermit, with Mokotro era, like all the way through, even to now. Like
Mbule.
you look at if you were to take the best players in the PSL at the moment, how many of them have spent some time at SuperSport? Like
it's crazy.
Their hit rate is so strong, and now you've kind of got Siwalele, which is sort of Blum Celtic, but it's also not, and they're not in Bloemfontein, so the fans haven't got anything back. It's weird, like, and it's just like a really, I just think it's a really sad state of affairs, because, like, if you're a young fan born in Blum, you've got no team to support. You've got sort of a team to support. Like, you've got someone who's got the nickname of a club that used to be in your city, but like you don't have a I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan because I was born in Sheffield. My dad was. My granddad was. Like that.
The whole family.
I never got
Sheffield
a choice.
Wednesday.
Like I'm born on the wrong side of Sheffield to be a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I should be a Sheffield United fan because of where I grew up. But because my granddad grew up by Hillsborough, I have his team. There was no choice. I was never given a like, what team do you like? It's just like,
this is it. Yeah,
you're born. This team's crap. I'm going to take you anyway, and you're going to enjoy it. That's it. Whereas here, like, you're not really flush for options because you don't know if the team that you are nearby will exist.
But Joe, don't you think the South African football culture and mentality and the way it's structured, don't you think it makes it more difficult for your smaller teams to be sustainable? And I'll tell you what I mean by that, right? Like you said, you from Sheffield, so you support Sheffield. Yeah. Someone who comes from East London will support team from East London. Someone who comes from, and they buy their jerseys, they buy the tickets, they sell out their stadiums. But here, someone who's from Venda, from Cape Town, they support Chiefs. You know, they don't care if there's a team from Cape Town or Venda in the league. They
Yeah.
support Chiefs. They buy the Chiefs jersey. They buy the Chiefs merchandise, right?
Yeah.
And it just creates this insane gap between the top and the bottom,
No.
and maybe it makes it difficult for for the other
It
teams.
makes it very difficult to close the gap because you're constantly battling uphill.
Yeah,
Bro, there's teams that are struggling for sponsorships in the PSL because of this exact reason. It's a problem.
But again, I'm not saying it's the only problem,
Yeah.
but like when there's no guarantees that football team will exist,
will stay. Yeah,
can you blame fans?
no.
Like, can you blame them for going? You're from Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
You are in a situation where, for a long, like Cape Town Spurs, the original Cape Town Spurs,
Yeah,
like
the
where
original,
Benny and
yeah.
Sean Bartlett and
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah,
Like that was a proper football club.
Yeah.
Like really like heart of the city and successful
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Then Ajax Cape Town came around. They were great for a period.
yeah,
And then they weren't Ajax Cape Town anymore.
yeah.
So then when they're no longer Ajax Cape Town, are you then still a fan of Ajax Cape
Yeah.
Town, or do you
It's a new team.
do you
It's a-
then
yeah.
follow the team that
Cape
they
Town
changed
City?
to? Like,
Yeah. What's going on?
like so you're trying to build something up is very difficult when you're doing it from scratch. Whereas when you look at Chiefs, 1970, they've been here. They've been Kaizer Chiefs since 1970. Nothing has changed. They've been that football club the entire time. The man at the top of it embodies everything about what Kaizer Chiefs are. Kaizer was an incredible player. Kaizer Motung was an incredible player. And he embodies everything about Kaizer Chiefs as a brand, as a club. So people recognize that. Like, you look at teams in a PSL and like how?
Yeah.
Like, how are you meant to build anything up
Yeah.
when you've no idea if one day that team just doesn't
exist,
not
yeah.
even just doesn't like it isn't even a city, it just might not exist anymore.
Yeah.
And Marriottsburg United, like
Yeah.
Harry Guala, I remember there was a point when Harry Guala
It was Friday night, eh?
Yeah, Friday nights under the lights, Harry Guala. They never lost.
Yeah.
They never lost there. And then just a little while ago, oh yeah, we've moved them.
Yeah.
Like they
And I mean, what are you supporting? What are they? They now called Durban City, but historically there was a Durban City. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like
Uh,
my football team at the moment is going for a really rough patch, like to the point when there are concerns about the future of the football club. And I've had friends say to me, like, who would you support if Wednesday weren't there anymore? Nobody. I wouldn't go, oh, Sheffield United are in the same city, I'll go support. Absolutely not. Like that would never happen. And it's not like I could go, oh well, I'll pick a Premier League team and support them, because this has been my life for 35 years. So when my team, and I imagine it's like a lot of fans that were, Free State Stars, for instance, they were around for a long time, and if you are if you're a fan of Free State Stars, or were a fan of Free State Stars, when they exist, or when they don't exist anymore, you're just like, well, looks like I'm just watching football then.
yeah, just a neutral.
I don't have the horse in the race anymore. Like, I've got no dog in this fight, so you just sit there and you watch.
Doesn't really matter anymore.
So you're not buying jerseys.
Yeah.
You might buy tickets every now and again and go to watch a game as a neutral. You might go to a cup final every now and again. But like, the only people that will be able to consistently make money and therefore have that leg up, like you're talking about, are Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns.
True.
And that is it's a vicious circle that continues. And you look at like the great work that Cape Town City did as a football club, building up what they did. Like, their brand's fun. Like what I know Julian very well, who's the media guy at Cape Town City, and like what Jules did was brilliant at City, and they created a really fun brand and a really fun product. Just like now they've just been relegated, and everyone's kind of like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, they got a very good team, like they got a really good setup, like they're
Resources.
organized as a football club. Like, it's just like, oh, and then you've got other clubs who don't do anything near like what Cape Town City do in terms of the good stuff off the pitch, and yet they're sort of thriving in the PSL and in the Betway Premiership and having a great time. And it's like there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of it sometimes.
Yeah. True.
I think, you touched a bit on the Durban City situation.
Yeah.
They just got promoted. Obviously, in the PSL now. Durban City and Orbit. We spoke about Siwelele and, what we think about it just now. Gentlemen, when you look at these two teams, obviously Durban City is coached by Kevin. I see he's brought Dane Clade as the DDC coach to try and get some continuity in there and a feeder for the first team as he wants to promote from within. And then you have Orbit. Also, they got Saleng. But when we're looking at these two teams, do you think both these teams survive in terms of this upcoming PSL season?
I have no idea. Like anyone's guess. Like if they were to finish bottom 2 or finish in the top 8, none of it would surprise me.
Yeah.
it
'Cause
could
like,
go either way.
Yeah, it's like in South Africa, we've got like a top 4, maybe top 5, and then
Everybody else is a
from
free for all.
there, it's. But look, I don't know exactly, everything that they're doing in the window, but I would guess it could probably. I think Durban City will be fine.
They've
They
done
look.
some
They look like they've got
experienced
resources.
players,
They're
yeah.
spending. But I think it could be a long season for Orbit. It could be a long season for them, and not. They just. I'm just not sure they've got the resources. Unfortunately, to.
And the players to be able to
But we said that about Magesi, and look what happened. So let's see. But yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if an Orbit gets relegated or goes to the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
you saw the MTN 8 game. We
Yep.
know who Pirates have signed.
Yes.
How do you think they line up this season tactically? Player for player, from pretty much goalkeeper all up to the front.
So I like the lineup they had yesterday. They had, the only change I would make, I would play Van Rooyen over Shandu.
Mm-hmm.
So Chinese number 1, Van Rooyen, Sibisi, Mbokazi, Hoto. But I think when Olisen Da comes back, he must play. Someone must
Someone
move.
must sit.
I like Nduli, Mbule, and Tito as the midfield. I think that midfield now, it's given Pirates something that they lacked last season. I think Makaula and Mbata gave you a lot in terms of energy, in terms of I think defensively they were all, they very solid. I think driving forward, Mbata is quite good at that. But I think what someone like Nduli gives you, he's like a proper deep lying playmaker. So you see, Pirates are now they're more measured. They control games a bit better. They're more dominant on the ball. And I think having Sipho there and having Nduli gives you that a bit more than the midfield they had last season. I think Tito, though, I think he must take advantage of having these two. Because last season he was having to do a lot of dropping deep to make the team play. He doesn't need to do that now. He's got 2 playmakers who can make the team play. I think there's an opportunity for Tito to really now start getting forward, start getting more assists, more goals. And I think the way the team is set up can give him that. We're having those 2. But I think what I'm really waiting to see, it's one thing with midfielders like Nduli and Mbule. It's one thing when you're dominating the game like they did yesterday. It'll be interesting to see when they play against, let's say, better midfielders.
Mentioning no teams, okay.
Playing against the Sundowns, those kind of teams where, because it's one thing when you're playing in midfield and you've got the ball and you're dominating, but it changes completely when you still have to make the team play, but you must also think about stopping Allende and stopping Tebza and stopping, So I would like to see how that midfield copes with, when they don't always have the ball in that. And I like what they're doing with the 2 wingers, Rele and Apollos. I like the variation. Rele seems to come in a lot, plays a very inverted role that gives Hoto a lot of freedom on the side. And then on the other side, Apollos is unpredictable. Sometimes he stays wide, allows Shandu to underlap. Sometimes he also inverts, sometimes you see Apollos actually come in from the right and they've got their 2 wingers next to each other, which I don't think it's such a bad thing, especially in games where they'll have most of the ball. So yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from a tactical setup, but I still think Pirates need a striker. I was impressed by the young man up front, Radio Pane, but I think his all-round play is good, but I still think they need a killer, and they still missing that.
When you're looking at the current landscape, if you were to put a name forward. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I mean, who do you think would be perfect and who would do well in that setup? I mean, that's a very good team. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do against the Sundowns when they actually need to defend also, because I think that's maybe the one thing. Maybe, I mean, Makaula is the player of the season, and which he's not in the team, which is
Yeah.
quite, but anyway. But who do they go for? I mean, as a striker to come in and
It's very difficult. I mean, when was the last time we had was
Uh,
spoiled for
you-
choice?
You,
up
you could
front?
you could go back 15 years.
Exactly.
And this idea of trying to find a number 9 in South
Yeah.
African football who's reliable. I mean, the only real obviously you've had Shalulile at Sundowns
Yeah.
and Brad Krobler. Like they're the only ones who've sort of really consistently scored goals. You gotta go back to Nomvete before you
Yeah,
find someone who was regularly scoring a lot of
Mm.
goals. We've had players that have had one season or two seasons
but
when
not
they've
to
been
do it
good.
consistently.
But a regular goal scorer it's a regular 9,
Yeah.
especially has been
it's a rare commodity. I think globally, actually, not just South
Yeah,
African
it's a
football.
problem.
It's the old cliche. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in football.
Yeah.
And it's why they always go for the most money, why they're the most highly sought after,
Yeah.
why they're the most coveted by teams that do have them. And because they are the difference between, can be the difference between success and not.
Yeah.
Because you can have the best team in the world, but if you've got no one to finish them off, then you're not getting anywhere.
I mean, I guess the next best thing, if you can't get a 15-goal striker, then if you can get your 2 wide players chipping in, if Rele gives you 8, Apollos gives you 8 to 10,
Yeah.
your midfielders chip in. I guess maybe that's that's probably what they're aiming for, and yeah.
I think it's going to be a very interesting season, man. I actually can't wait. I think with everything taken into context, I think I just like to, from each of you, just to get a quick prediction. Who's number 1, 2, 3, 4?
We don't have to bother with one. That's
I think everybody agrees who we think number 1 is going to be.
But I say Sundowns win the league. I think we have a title race. Goes right to the wire, and Sundowns win it at the end. Number 1.
I really hope so. I really hope that is the case.
I don't think Joe is very convinced.
No, that's not me saying it won't. It's it's a genuine. I really would love it to go down to the last couple of
Last
games.
game.
It'd be great if it was the last game. I love that kind of drama.
Yeah.
What's
So you're saying Sundowns?
Yeah. What's your
Just nicking it? Yeah. Pirates.
and your 3-4?
I like what Kukune have done. I think Kukune will come third.
Okay.
And then Stellies. See, if Stellies are not losing so many players, I mean, I'd even go as far as if they're not losing so many players out, I think they'll be pushing for second. But I'll put them in fourth because, I mean, they've just lost Pasadena again.
Yeah.
They've lost
Yeah,
Mbule.
you could be right. Sekakuni have had a really good summer.
Yeah,
They've signed really smart. They've addressed some of the issues that they had last season, and been they've made educated signings rather than just chucking
I
contracts
like how
at people.
Joe calls it the summer. Because
I was thinking the
it's-
same thing.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. That's my British brain. Sorry. They've had a really good winter. They've had a very good transfer window. But yeah, I think it'll be the same top 4. I think you're right with how Stellenbosch cope with the players that they've lost and stuff is obviously that changes things. But I do think we'll probably see at least a very similar top 4 to what we saw last season. I'm just very impressed by Stellenbosch as a football club and their ability to keep going. I think you got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll just do it again because they seem to do it every year at the moment.
Chiefs fans won't be impressed with.
I'm thinking.
I hope we're wrong. I hope Chiefs. I really do actually. I hope Chiefs are in the top.
Comment sections. No. I think so. We're saying Chiefs top 8.
Surely.
I think top 6 even.
Top 6, nah.
Yeah.
The jokes aside, I do think that what the manager has done at Chiefs is turning things around a little bit. I think there's sort of green shoots of progress there.
Yeah.
And I do think they'll be in the mix. Not for winning the league,
Top 6 maybe.
but I think they could be in the mix for top 4.
Yeah.
Around it.
Around
I'm
top
not
4.
sure. I'm not
Possible,
sure they get
yeah.
it, but I think they'll be around it this season.
Okay.
For the sake of South African football, I hope they're in the mix somewhere.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm very hopeful. And hopefully in a season or 2, they're able to be in the conversation for that top 2 competing for the league type of thing. I hope they get it right. But yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how the fans from Kaizer Chiefs are actually feeling about what's going on and if they have any optimism for the coming season. So
Everyone always has optimism.
They
It doesn't
always-
matter, it doesn't matter how things go. Before you kick a ball,
Yeah.
everyone's optimistic.
Yeah.
probably having optimism.
And
of
then
winning
after the
league.
first game, if you've lost, like, oh right, everything's
it's gone.
ruined.
I mean, I don't want this to be, an elongated conversation of South African football. Joe, from your end, my brother, I don't know. Is there anything else, that you maybe wanted to touch on?
Covered quite a lot, to be fair.
Pick one.
No, to be honest, like it's been really nice watching the sort of growth of South African football in terms of the amount of players that are going overseas and that are catching the eye now. And I think in general, like you look at the growth of the league in terms of the way that the way it's become like a really properly I suppose utilized division now.
Yeah.
Like and I think one of South Africa's one of the things that was seen as a problem for South African football that players weren't leaving anymore is it's kind of double-edged really, because they weren't leaving because they didn't need to, because it had become a profitable division to be in.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need to, because I think before a lot of players had to leave if they wanted to make
Yeah.
proper money. That's not really the case anymore.
Yeah.
You can make a really successful career of being in South
Comfortably,
Africa.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that was really interesting, I had a chat with Ronza at an event a few weeks back, just before the Club World Cup, and he was talking about the way that South African football, or South African sport, should I say, is having this like glow up at the moment, and he put it down to the Springboks, and he said that the Springboks doing what they did, the way that they did it, was almost like a touch paper for the rest of South Africa to go, all right, like we're not just competing on the continent anymore. Like we can really go for it. And you see that the way that the athletics are going, like Akani Simbine is unbelievable, and like the general athletics are great. I mean, obviously we all know about Caster; she's been doing it for a long time. But like South African sport in general feels like it's having a real glow up at the moment. And it's really nice to see, because it feels like South Africa is pulling on the potential that everybody knew it had.
Yeah.
And I really hope that continues. Obviously, we've seen what's happening with Bafana and how well they've been doing. I really hope we can do something really good at the AFCON, because I'd love to see Bafana win something.
Yeah.
Like having covered Bafana at some real low points. Like if they were to be able to go on and like make a real go of it and go and win something would be phenomenal, man.
Mpho?
Yeah, look, nothing. I think we just looking forward to the season. Like I said, I'm hoping that it will be a close season. It will be exciting, and yeah, let's see. But I'm also keeping an eye on Bafana. But I'm sure we'll be covering them, closer to the AFCON and that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think South African football and our sport in general, I think we're in a good place right now. And yeah, and I hope it continues on the same sort of trajectory.
100%. I think the sentiments are probably shared by literally each and every South African that's going to be watching the podcast. We'd love to see South Africa win a trophy. We'd love to see South Africa qualify for a World Cup. It's been a while.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't played in one since 2010, which is where we
Didn't
played that one
qualify.
because
We
I
didn't even
was
qualify for that one.
So hopefully, and it's looking good right
Yeah.
now. Hugo Bruce is doing an incredible job with the team, and I think we're a couple of wins away from qualifying for the World Cup itself. So yeah, I think that's about it. And Joe, man, thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure. It's nice to dust off my South African football knowledge again.
100%, my brother. Hopefully we can do more, going forward as a friend of the show, as we go. I mean, I think at some points we'd want to also touch in a little bit more in terms of the European game and the state of it, that side.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be perfect for that. Yeah, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a wrap. See you on the next edition of the State of Football. Hopefully we can be more frequent, but for now, you'll at least get an episode a month. So thank you very much.